Welcome to another London Film Festival 2022 review, movie fans. Today we are discussing an Akira Kurosawa remake, Living, premiered at this year's Sundance Film Festival, and it stars Bill Nighy as a British civil servant and bureaucratic cog rebuilding a post-World War II Britain. Mr. Williams is his name, and he routinely pushes paperwork around the government office only to reckon with his existence once he's diagnosed with a terminal illness. This is based on Akira Kurosawa's IKIRU, and for reference, I've never seen the original, and while this doesn't have the same nuances as an Akira Kurosawa movie, it certainly carries the contemplative nature of his storytelling. This is just a very somber, very sad movie about a man coming to terms with his own mortality and reflecting on his entire life. This entire movie is a rumination on mortality and really what we leave behind and our impact on the world, if really there is any. So really, do not go into Living expecting a wide range of emotions. This will just make you sad and depressed, as its achingly melodic score that is so effective in key moments of the piece. But honestly, it stands out all the more when the movie is silent, with no score and just dialogue exchanges. They are so well written and hit in such profoundly resonant ways that it really stood out to me when the score wasn't there. And that might seem like an insult to the score, but it really isn't. A big part of scoring a film is really knowing when not to put music, not to force emotions out of your audience. Just let the scene play out and let the emotions of the characters be conveyed in a genuine manner. And they really are, because Bill Nighy is really fantastic in this. This man is a melancholic counterpart to Ron Swanson. He carries the exact same belief system. Both work for the government, they don't care to do any of the work, and they don't care for the government itself. It's totally extremely different, but there are so many similarities. I just couldn't help but see a very dramatic, very existential to a deep level episode of Parks and Rec unfolding in front of my eyes that takes very different journeys with these characters, as Bill Nighy just begins to wanting connection with another human being. He continues to not care much for the work until he sees how much his work can impact another person's life. And that is kind of beautiful to see unfold. And it's kind of the same journey Ron Swanson went on in Parks and Rec. The very way he speaks, walks, his entire body language and mannerisms, it's as if he's whimpering away with every scene. It really is a profound look at mortality. We all know Bill Nighy, we all love Bill Nighy, and seeing him as this man who's basically done, he's wasting away at every frame of the film as he tries to change his ways, tries to leave a lasting impact with the world, or really with anyone in any way he can. The very reflective nature of this character just hits in very compelling ways, and the film does a great job, not so much as to show us his attempts at change, his attempts at leaving an impact, but once you see his impact being felt, not necessarily even when he's on screen, to me that's when really the movie works best, when you see the other characters around them, the other characters that work with them, that live with them, that knew him, and see how their perspectives, how their worldviews somewhat changed through his impact, or maybe even didn't change at all, and it hits so profoundly well. It's a tragically sad look at our impact on those around us, our efforts to leave the world better than how we found it, and it's a film that is brave enough to ask the question, can we actually do it? And I'm not going to spoil the answer, but I really like how this film goes about it, and it really gets going in the third act once we see how other characters and other people react to this man and his mortality, his rumination on his entire life. But this is also where the film begins to feel more melodramatic and really overdoing, really demanding emotions. Where I talked about in the lack of score in certain scenes, that completely disappears in the third act. The film begins conveying its themes with a lot less sophistication, becoming overly balmy and mushy whenever Nighy isn't there, with a supporting cast that does a great job, but the characters themselves didn't get enough focus. They feel underdeveloped and eventually begin to stifle the movie's emotional core, which is really sad. Even sadder than the movie already was before, and like I said, this is a really sad movie. It eventually drags its feet onto an ending that is compelling, but it doesn't carry as much emotional potency as it really should. But before we die out with my final thoughts on Living, I need you to start the conversation in the comments below. Did you catch this one at Sundance? Any other festival? The London Film Festival? Anything and everything down there. And if you're enjoying my London Film Festival coverage, there's more reviews right up here. Or if you just love movies and TV, this is the place to be. So consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. I'm a fan of Living's melancholic storytelling. Bill Nighy is an absolute force who compellingly affects the world around him in what essentially is a dramatically existential episode of Parks and Rec. The most powerful moments are the ones of somber silence who convey earnest emotion, but it can eventually drag and get quite sappy. I'm giving Living a B-. That's my take on Living, and I do think Bill Nighy has a good chance of getting an Oscar nom, but what do you make of it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Look out for more LFF reviews to come very soon, and big thanks to my channel members for always supporting the channel. I'll see you very soon. Love each other, and love the movies.